I'm just wondering if they said anything like, we'll start sessions early or.
I'll bounce back into the backstage area and just confirm that they're actually done and see if they gave anyone a starting time, and then I'll be right back.
Thanks, Ben. Okay. Appreciate it. You get to go backstage. I get kicked out.
Zach, you and I both no backstage passes for us. It was just Jim and Ben.
Yeah, the Jim and Ben show.
Actually, it was a little scary. That's right. Jim and Ben in the morning. Welcome. Hey.
Oh, Cody just showed up.
Yes, he did.
We got another presenter here.
He's got a little bit of dementia these days.
Oh.
So he howls intermittently.
How's your class coursework going, Zach?
Done for like a month. Yeah, this is actually my first Monday off in 12 weeks. So
nice.
Yeah. Waiting for one more grade to come in, but I think it was a 4.0 semester. So exciting. Yep.
I remember when I was working, at WC and going back for my doctorate night. After it was all done, I kept saying to myself, I don't know how I ever did it. Like, you'll be the same way. You're going to be done with it all, and you're going to be like, how did I ever, work, go back to school, do it all? It's a lot of work, so I commend you.
So close. All right. We have our first question here from
wonderful.
Mary from the Rotary Club of Beloit. Been sending students to Ryla for several years and is wondering, does Rotaract get brought up to students participate in Ryla, and are they encouraged to getting involved to start one? Yes, Mary, that's one of our big goals, is that when they leave, they have the form and everything to go out and be able to start a Rotaract club. So we do take the time to introduce Rotaract. We encourage Rotaract students to share kind of their Rotaract moment. Right, I'm messing up with interact, am I?
Yes.
Oh man, I always get those. This is why I need to become a Rotarian. But okay, so yes, though still we are pushing for Rotaract, especially with our counselors that we bring in, our college age counselors. We encourage them to get involved in a Rotaract. So yes, man. But that is our plan for Interact too, though, is get them in and get them involved. And that is the Rotarians' plan with me, is get me into a Rotary club. So, which I'm working on.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. Did we answer you, Mary?
We're Ben went to go find out if we should start earlier for actually waiting till 7:45 to start the session. But if anybody has questions, we're certainly here to answer anything that you need. So
let's see who else we've got on the line here. So we've got.
Oh, we can start whenever.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I think why don't we just get started, and Ben will join us when he is.
Hey, Ben, welcome back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good to start. We're good to start whenever we want, if you didn't already start.
Perfect. We answered a quick question, and now we can start.
Awesome.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the session. I know that there are several people on this, but it's also being recorded. So those of you that are watching this days from now, because you were super interested in Ryla, we're excited that you are joining us on that aspect as well. But we're going to start with introductions. I am Michelle McGrath. I am a couple of things. I'm a Madison downtown Rotarian, as well as Ben's always got to help me through this. I'm also the district governor-elect designee.
Nominee designate, close enough.
Nominee designee. I will be the district governor in a couple short years, right after Ben. But excited and honored to have my experience start in Rotary as obviously a member of Downtown Madison Rotary, but then right into that, I became the trainer for District 6250, and then soon after that, the co-chair for Ryla, and have been the co-chair for Ryla for almost a decade now. So it's been super exciting. I've gotten to see a lot of the history, and my background is education. So teacher, administrator, ran a leadership nonprofit as well for youth in Wisconsin. So that is me, and I'm going to hand it over to Jim Kramer for his introduction.
Hi, welcome to the session. My name is Jim Kramer. As Michelle said, I'm a retired middle school teacher and guidance counselor, school counselor, and came to Ryla through my involvement with the student council group that I worked with, and my passion for student leadership and student leadership development. And my own kids went through the Ryla experience as counselors, and so that drew me in, started to get to know the Rotarians. My function with Ryla is as the curriculum coordinator, and so I work with the different team members here to work with the counselors and the students or delegates to get the most bang for their leadership buck. And so I'm really moved by the possibilities that bringing us together, as I said in my introduction, like-minded and genuine and authentic and kind students to produce something bigger than themselves when they are there at camp and beyond. So I'm currently a Rotarian with the Marshfield Sunrise Club, and so my admiration for the Rotarians and what they were doing and Rotary in general only grew through my involvement with Ryla. And I'll send it over to Zach.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zach Zellner, and I am the curriculum director for Ryla. And I got involved back when Michelle brought me on when she became co-chair, and she offered this awesome opportunity. I've been involved in the Wisconsin Association of School Councils for years, since like 2003 or 2002. So it's been a while. And, I was super excited to move from a counselor into this curriculum coordinator and designer role to now the curriculum director. And it's great to always see those relationships built and really help people start networking. These are the connections that are really going to be able to help them achieve some awesome things. And it's just a great organization to work with. Like I've been kind of joking around, I am looking for a Rotary Club just because I do think it's such a great organization. So it's been awesome. Ben's been on me about it too. So
Just a little bit.
And I'll pass. Speaking of Ben, here's Ben.
Thanks, Zach. So I'm Ben Bauer. I'm your district governor nominee. I will be your district governor in 2022-23. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm like getting the years all mixed up now, thinking of when Michelle will be DG, and time is just flying by. I've been involved with Ryla for, 10 years, maybe plus or minus a year or two. I don't know. I kind of lost track, and I'm cool with that. It's been just an awesome time since I first went to Ryla as a Rotarian counselor back somewhere around 2010. And I like to, Ryla is my Rotary story. I like to tell that story all the time because I was the typical Rotarian who joined for one reason or another, whatever I thought Rotary was going to be to me, which it was a great thing before I got involved with Ryla. But I became one of those Rotarians in name only who showed up to the meetings once in a while, but really kind of got out of the habit and was just really kind of like not connected to that thing that really drove me back to being engaged with my club and with my fellow Rotarians. So I just had the super fortunate opportunity one year where someone from my club was supposed to be a counselor and had to back out last minute, and she asked me if I could fill in, and had a little bit of some youth leadership stuff in previous life and thought, hey, this might be something kind of up my alley, and went to the camp, which at the time was in Manitowish Waters up in Boulder Junction, and just had an absolute blast. And it was my first real connection to the district and to this greater Rotary world beyond just my club, which is Marshfield Sunrise. So it's just super fortunate to have been in the right place at the right time, been at the right meeting because I wasn't going to too many at the time. And since then, I've just been saying yes to Rotary. I was our club president a few years after that, taking on some additional district leadership roles, co-chairing Ryla for many years, and now in the district governor team. So just super, super grateful for everything that this fun little weekend has done for me as a human being. So, and I mean, looking at these other three people on the screen right now, I mean, if there's gifts I can be grateful for, holy cow, just knowing these three and being involved with such a great event is just awesome. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, team. So much fun. I could probably speak for all of us that when we saw the video showing during the live piece where the Ryla video was showing, I think I had tears streaming down my face just to see all of us together and hugging on each other and just enjoying that connection and fellowship. And really that's what Ryla's all about, what Rotary's all about. But Ryla, that's what we really hope to do in that course of those 3 days is just connect those kids, connect staff, and create something really incredible. So we're going to go through a couple different things just to give you just a little taste of Ryla. And I'm going to talk just briefly about just the history of Ryla and in our district. And so as Ben has alluded to, and maybe some others before, but we used to host the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program up in Boulder Junction. And at that time, if you're unfamiliar where Boulder Junction is, it's north of Minocqua. So it's quite a distance for lots of folks in our district. So when we were it was a lovely facility, but when we were up there, it really prohibited us from getting a lot of Rotary clubs involved and getting as many students as up there as we could. And we had about 30 students. And so at that time, I became the co-chair with Jeff out of La Crosse, Jeff Odom. And we made the decision with the district to move Ryla back into the district. And we chose Upham Woods, which is in the Dells. And so the opportunity to move there was fantastic, not only from a standpoint for our delegates to get there, but for other Rotaries to get involved and Rotarians to get involved. And it grew at every year, more and more students came. And so we, right before, unfortunately, we were unable to meet last year, but we were around 100, we ranged between 120, 140 students and about 40 staff. So pretty much at capacity at Upham Woods. So that's a little bit about the history piece of it. I'm just going to talk briefly about the logistics, and then we're going to dive right into the program, the fun stuff. So I giggle because right behind me is my my bag of tricks. So that's where I house my hula hoops and my pool noodles. And so that is at the foundation of Ryla. But we do lots of fun things with our students. And you'll see that myself, all of us except for Ben, because he can't seem to find his, but has a bandana on. And so when students come to us, so we have students from all over the district, and we, depending on how many students we have, we put them into teams. And so each team has about 12 to 13 students, and we always try to put them with kids from other areas. So they're not with the same kids that they came with from their community. When they go into those teams of people, they each are given a either a color or a name, but they're given a bandana that represents that. Typically, if you're on the staff, you have something maybe different, a superhero or a tie-dye, but all the other ones are typically a certain color, green, red, orange, and so on. So throughout Ryla, their experience, they always have those on themselves, whether it's around their neck, around their arm. So it brings them together and unites them as a team. In those teams, they also are assigned now we name these all different things, but I think I'm going to get this right. So there's a Rotarian assigned to each team, and typically they're either a Rotarian from someone in our club. And the last couple of years, we also used Rotaract members. And they were Rotaract students from within our district as well. So each, like I said, team has one of those. And then we have a leadership guru. And our leadership gurus come from, as Zach talked just briefly about, so the Wisconsin Association of School Councils, where I was the executive director, and Zach and Jim have been in those programs as well. But we teamed up with them, partnered with them, and utilized some of their leadership development students that have worked in there, gone through their camps, done all the training, and now are just amazing leaders at facilitating leadership curriculum. So we've brought them in as our leadership gurus. So each of those teams has one of those students in it. And then each team also has a junior Rotarian, but now we call them junior counselors. But basically students that have gone through the Ryla program the year before, and then they come back to help and mentor and facilitate the program with us. So throughout the camp process, they're in those teams competing, doing challenges, collaborating, working with each other. We're going to get to the curriculum in a minute, but a couple other just tidbits for the logistics. It's an outdoor camp primarily, so we're doing a lot of our activities outside, and then we do some inside. But one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is that at our lunch or breakfast or dinner times, we invite Rotarians and Rotary clubs from all over the district to assist us with meal times. So typically, it's usually Ben, but he'll reach out throughout the district and ask which clubs want to be involved in Ryla. And sometimes you might not be able to find students for whatever reason, but that doesn't mean your club can't be involved with Ryla. You can still offer to say, hey, we'll take a lunch and bring in lunch for all the Ryla students and be there for the fellowship and share a story, those types of things, as well as I'm sure there'll be other things that I don't want to steal the thunder of Jim and Zach when they talk about curriculum. So lots of ways that Rotarians can get involved. So that's a little bit about, I'm just looking at my notes here, but I think for the logistic piece, that's kind of how we set things up at the camp. And now we're going to go to Zach, who's going to talk about key concepts that the students are learning at Ryla.
All right, thanks, Michelle. So the big key concepts, day one, they come in, they know nobody for the most part. Maybe they know some of the people that they came in with. And so we spend the first part of the day really day one, building relationships, learning. We have a leadership obstacle course, and the goal with that is team building, but also just recognizing that there are different, everyone has different strengths, and really getting that integrative leadership in there. And everyone's running around. The Rotarians are doing their best to keep up, and everyone's laughing. And then at the very end, we get together and we build gumball catapults. And it's just so much fun to be able to kind of just be goofy and laugh, but also work as a team towards a common goal. As the day goes on, we get into our little groups and get to know each other. And we end that day with a night hike. And what's so cool about the night hike is it's, again, a different way for everyone to start developing these relationships with the people within their group and really start building a strong connection. There's a segment where it's on Sunset Rock. If you want to know about Sunset Rock, talk to Ben about becoming a Rotarian volunteer. It's magical, especially when you get Bill up there and he gets all insightful and meditative, but it's awesome. It really gives the students a chance to sit back and disconnect. And depending on traffic, there can be zero noise. And it's probably something that's very different for a lot of our students that are coming in. And I think that's probably one of the most powerful pieces of the curriculum, just that disconnecting and being able to connect with themselves and each other. The next day is really about diving into the concepts of Rotary. So we get into the water project, which is an empathy exercise focused on bringing attention to the privilege of having clean water and and the fact that Rotary is working so hard to provide clean drinking water to third world countries. And so everyone gets, each group, they get paired up, and then they have to carry a 5-gallon pail of water. They have to walk all the way. I want to say it's at least a quarter mile, if not half mile, to a certain point where they fill up their buckets. They got to pay for the water. It's not free. And then they have to carry this bucket another, quarter mile or so. And really understand that there are people that do this every day and travel miles to do this. And then they meet in the sand pit where Laura alluded to it, where they get into a squat position. And they're read a story where they have to listen to this story as they deal with the pain of being in this squat position, and really just drives home that there are people in this world that are in pain. And we have the opportunity to help them with this organization. We drive home the 4-way test. We do it at meals. We introduce it right away. We have several activities where they have to prove that they know it. And at the end of the camp, we do one big, or each group does a presentation of what they learned, a little skit, and every group has the 4-way test in it, each and every one of them, and they're able to do it without any notes. They are able to recite the 4-way test, which is awesome. And then we have ethical dilemmas, and Madison After Hours typically comes in and runs an ethical dilemma workshop. And again, it's just amazing seeing what the kids, the young adults come up with as far as how they would handle those dilemmas and apply the 4-way test. But by the end of day 2, they know the 4-way test and they know service above self. And those are the big things that we really want to drive home. And then day 3, we finish up with our leadership journey. And that, again, is another reflective exercise where they take one last walk with their family now. And they reflect on their journey as a family. They reflect on their journey as a person. And hopefully they're thinking about, I want to go back home and I want to start and interact. And I want to start making a difference. And hopefully our counselors are thinking, I want to go and I want to start a Rotaract, or I want to join a Rotaract. And those are the big things that happen. And there's fun stuff too. We have a dance And we have a ropes course, so everyone, they push each other and they push themselves. And so there's a lot of growth. And then during meals, we're serving each other. Everyone's taking turns serving. So really driving home service above self, which has always been something that I've taken to heart since I started working with Rotary International. Thank you.
Well, that's wonderful, Zach. Thanks for covering so much of the camp experience. I also want to kind of hark back to what you threw out there. One of our, we like to do some fun and creative things. So if you were a breakfast cereal, what would you be and why? I see that Michelle would be Lucky Charms because she brings the magic and is super lucky to be part of an amazing team of students and Rotarians. I saw Ben, the Breakfast of Champions. He is a champion. And let's see, I think Zach said Frosted Mini Wheats, was it? Yeah, Frosted Mini Wheats, because his runners know that he can be sweet but still tough, and I can attain to attest to that. And I was going with Cheerios because I hope I'm heart healthy. So, well, let's see what the rest of you think. I know there were a couple of, let's see who else we've got on our list here. We've got Mary and Sherry and Emily and Sherry.
Yeah.
And let's see who else we got. So let's see what you guys got for us today.
Throw it in the chat. This is what we. This is one of the icebreakers that we actually start with. So you're getting your chance, and you're getting off easy because when Jeff Odom and I did this our first year, we made everybody get up and do some of the Energizer songs. All right, so participate in the chat. Otherwise, we're showing up next year. And
otherwise, that's right. We're going to do the why.
And let me tell you, that's work.
One person just signed off. You must have scared him away.
I'm the worst.
Oh no! Well, I'll go ahead and get going while we're waiting on those to come in, and we'll have Zach, our media specialist. There we go. Sherry's on there. Zach, you want to take that one?
Apply in the chat, Jim, if you want to.
All right.
You want to do your piece.
All right. So as Zach said, the regular, we feel badly. 2020 blindsided all of us. And so we made the decision that year to cancel the camp. And so when 2021 came along, we felt that it was a rare opportunity to offer something virtual, which I'll get to in a second. But as Zach said, we get started on Friday of the weekend of camp at about noon with lunch and moving into cabins. You saw that in the video. And it's really a great opportunity to the contagious energy of the counselors and the staff really eases the students into the camp experience. They start to meet each other. Like Michelle said, each family has their own bandana, so they start to bond around that common identity. We get together in a general session, and much like we did today, we introduce ourselves, we do some icebreakers. The counselors get everybody up and moving and loosened up out of their comfort zones a little bit. That's a great opportunity to just exert yourself, get a little energy out. And as Ben said, or as Zach said rather, we go through a variety of different experiences, the leadership obstacle course, as he mentioned, some time to just breathe and have a little free time and dinner, and our boundary breaking opportunity for the groups to get to know each other a little deeper in a quiet setting, and then moving into our night hike evening activities, which are quiet, introspective opportunities before we have our campfire and Ben and I do our vaudevillian campfire song and recitation. So you wouldn't want to miss that. And it's a pretty full day, ending sometime a little after 11, and then we're up bright and early for breakfast on Saturday at 8 o'clock. At which time we do some more group activities, and then go off into a rotation of activities that goes right up until dinner. The ropes course, as Zach mentioned, learning more about the four-way test, which we believe is such an essential aspect of Rotary. Working on the skits, as Zach said, our leadership in action. And then getting ready for coming to dinner and the dance and skit presentations. And one of the things we have noticed is, and Ben talked about this in the video, it's 2 nights, 3 days, not even full days, and the intensity of connection that occurs is just inspiring. To see the groups come together in service, come together in team building, come together in problem solving. And so it's nice to see them come together in fun as well at the dance and the skits. And so then on Sunday, we, again, up early for breakfast. We get together in our groups for our leadership journey, as Zach said, and then we bring the camp to a close. Different people, different leaders. This year, we had the idea to kind of start building our momentum for 2022, because we lost, like everybody lost something in 2020. We didn't want to lose the momentum anymore. Enthusiasm from our previous counselors and Rotarians was high, and so they wanted to see something offered again. So the team, we're putting together our virtual Ryla experience on May 16th and 17th. And as I saw a message in the chat that you still can register. As Michelle said earlier, Rotary clubs sponsor students for this. And so, Ben, how would they approach their Rotary clubs to seek sponsorship? What's the route this year for this?
Yeah, was anyone else going to be covering that? Otherwise, I can kind of wrap up with that at the end.
No, so I'll let you wrap up with that at the end. Or Zach, were you going to cover that? Okay. So we're going to offer as much of an interactive mirror of camp with the virtual format, the Zoom format, as we can. So we're going to break into families. We're going to mix it up. We're going to try and get to know each other, try and get out of our comfort zones. We've developed some icebreakers to do virtually that we can engage in. We're still going to cover relevant ideas like high school Rotary and service project ideas, Rotary moments, and again, as Zach said so importantly, the four-way test. And if I can convince Ben, we might even have a virtual campfire for the last few minutes. It wouldn't be Ryla without a campfire. And then on Monday, the 17th, we have a wonderful speaker, Kyle Wilkham, who's going to share a wonderful message that we will process in our family groups afterward in our Zoom rooms. And just more opportunities to have some fun together, to get to know each other. And then we'll close things up just as a way to start building momentum for the future. And so that's kind of our vision for kind of are looking back and forward at what Ryla was and will be, and what it will be this year for 2021.
Thanks, Jim. So yeah, we have, we're so excited, obviously, and gosh, especially after tonight and seeing the video from a few years ago. Holy cow, do I wish we were out in the woods or looking forward to that this year. But at the same time, I'm so happy that we're, doing what we can this year in this virtual format. And we really want to make sure that we're providing something really valuable. We know that everybody's been spending a ton of time in virtual meetings and virtual school and virtual work and all that stuff this year. So we really want to just make sure that this isn't just another virtual event. So with that in mind, obviously, we got two great big bright minds here that are going to put together some awesome curriculum that's actually already put together, but we'll be delivering that in a few weeks here. And along with that, we're going to enhance the virtual experience with a Ryla from Home kit, name to be trademarked or something. I don't know. We'll figure out what we actually call it, but it's going to have a bunch of goodies in there to, hopefully help them remember the experience, but then also during the event itself, there'll be some stuff in there to help them interact, get up out of their chair, so they're not just going to be sitting and staring at their screen the whole time too. And honestly, even if they were, the stuff that we have planned for them and speakers like Kyle and stuff, it's really going to be an awesome experience for them all weekend. So everybody that comes is going to get a lot of the same Ryla experience as though it was in person, as far as some of the swag and the stuff they're going to get. They'll all get their t-shirt, and instead of a bandana, we'll do a gaiter this year, because why not, right? And water bottle and a bunch of other stuff like that. So we're going to be shipping those kits out. I see a question in the chat from Sherry when the kit will be available. Registration was originally going to close April 15th. That's actually been extended to April 26th. And shortly after that, we'll be scrubbing all that information, making sure that we have students that registered properly aligned with the clubs that have sponsored them. And then we'll ship those kits out so they get it sometime ahead of Ryla. Some, they might receive it a week or so in advance. Some of them might get it a couple days in advance. But we'll definitely make sure that everybody has it ahead of our virtual experience on that Sunday. And then they'll just be able to follow along as we dig in and get into the experience. So on that note, if you're still potentially thinking you might be able to send students, or if you've already committed to sending a certain number but you're waiting on confirmation from schools or anything like that with student names and information, our registration process this year, especially because of the different format, we changed it up a little bit. So basically there's two registration forms, one for the club. The club goes out and gives us all of their information, who their main point of contact is, how many students they're going to be sponsoring, the names of those students, and they submit that information to the district office. Shortly after that information is submitted, which maybe was happening a little quicker before district conference. Now that district conference is going on, the district office is quite busy. So after district conference wraps up, I'm sure they'll be catching up on some Ryla logistics. And after that form submitted, then the district office will send an invoice to the club for the number of students that they submitted. Then those students that the clubs are sponsoring, they themselves, along with their parent and guardian, should go out and fill out the student registration form, which that's where the student gives us all of their information, signs an online code of conduct, gives us their t-shirt size, all that stuff that we need to provide the experience to them. There's a spot for their parent or guardian to also sign off on some of those important agreements and code of conduct. So, and then, like I say, the district office will do some of that logistical stuff after the fact and make sure that the right students are associated with the right club and that they are actually sponsored by a Rotary club. So that student registration link is actually intended to be kept, pretty confidential and only shared with the students that are actually going to be sponsored by a club to attend Ryla. And so I think as of yesterday, we had 71 students registered, coming from around 20 clubs, depending on which clubs have submitted their information first, or the students that have registered. So after we kind of clean up that list and make sure we have everything good to go, we'll get everything that the students will need out to them and ready to go for an awesome time. So one question that we commonly get, sometimes even from clubs that have sponsored students in the past, but definitely from clubs who haven't done it in a while, or maybe have never done it, or there's a new person that's doing like youth programs in their clubs, is where do we find these students? And I would say that 9.5 times out of 10, usually there's a connection between the club and a local school, public or private school, and maybe even more specifically, a counselor or a teacher within that school that gets a nice packet that we put together every year with info on, what kind of students come to Ryla, what we're looking for, what the application process might be, a little bit of info about what Rotary is and what Ryla is. And I know a lot of clubs really lean heavily on that connection within the school to identify the students to come in. We really get an awesome mix of students every year. We get the class presidents, we get the captain of the sports teams and that stuff. And then we also get the kids that just got that thing inside of them, but maybe haven't had the chance to show that leadership potential at school, or, they're maybe not one of the most popular kids or whatever. And that is one of the best things about Ryla, is seeing those kids come together and just leave as this new family and stuff. So really our criteria is you need to be a living, breathing human that's ready to have a good time and be respectful to everyone else. And you need to be a sophomore in high school. From there, we really lean heavily on the recommendation from the students or from the schools as to which students come to Ryla. So this year, we definitely anticipated the challenge with the virtual format. And like I said, knowing that kids are probably zoomed out and all of that stuff, and teachers, schools are facing challenges like the rest of us that we've never had to face before. So we anticipated that likely some schools would maybe not be sending students this year, or some clubs just wouldn't have either the budget or the mental capacity to figure it out this year, and that is totally okay. But like Jim said, we really, really wanted to do something this year and provide the best experience we can, and we're totally leaning into that. We're going to have a great time with whatever we got in May here, and really set the stage for whatever's next for Ryla, which obviously we're all hoping is in person, in the woods next year, with a great group of students and leaders and people from all over our district. So guys, if there's anything I missed, give me a virtual punch in the shoulder, or anyone still with us, throw a question in the chat. Yeah, I see one message from Sherry: should be fewer forms to fill out since it's virtual, and that definitely has been the case this year. Typically we have health forms, nutrition information, stuff like that. There's a lot more to consider when we're feeding people, and we have to make sure that they have any medications with them and stuff like that. So Flava, the lifesaver there, Michelle, can take care of them when something goes down. So we definitely that is one blessing this year, is how much simpler everything is with the paperwork and stuff this year. And like so much that's happened over the course of this last year, we're definitely going to be taking note of all of that. And if there's anything that we can do to simplify the process next year when we go back to in person and we need some of that additional information, what can we do to keep things as simple as we've been able to in this new world that we're living in. So at the end of the day, we're going to look at those silver linings and make our in-person experience even better when we get back to it.
Absolutely. All right. I think there doesn't look like there's any other questions, and it looks like they are asking us if we're done at 8:15, that concludes our 45-minute session. But is there if there's no other questions, I just want to encourage those of you that, like I said, those of you that are on tonight, or those of you that are watching this at a later time, if you have students interested, or you're interested in learning more about the program, definitely reach out to either Ben and I. We're on the district website as the co-chairs, so our contact information is there. Make sure to in the future too become a Ryla counselor. We would love to get you involved in that component of Ryla as well. So definitely keep us on your short list of how you want to engage in Rotary. I think with that, thank you again. Thanks, team. Looking forward to a great Ryla coming up in May. Thanks, and everybody. Have a good evening.
Love you.
Thanks, everyone.